It's gone.
Hello, test.
That's like this here.
Yeah, thanks. Put it on the ground, actually. Put it on the ground.
To the camera.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go for it. That, I can hear that. Oh no.
Can you?
Doesn't matter.
Hey.
We don't even have one. Yeah, we don't even have one. No, I can't. We get text forward. Test, test, test. Can you hear it? Well, that's why I can't hear myself.
You won't hear yourself.
I want to hear myself.
No,
Can't hear myself?
no. It'll just be you, man. That's.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to our coverage of the club line match of the round. Gungahlin Eagles are hosting Tuggies Vikings, and apologies for the technical issues we had at the start of the game. It's a wet and woolly day here in Canberra, as it is up most of the east coast of Australia. And thank you very much for joining us. As Vikings with the ball now, giving it to Josh Hitchens. And in support, in the mud, is Ben Hine right behind him. The Tuggies Vikings in attack now. Gareth Clouston. And a knock-on, says the referee in that tackle. We expect to see a lot of that this afternoon. It's a wet and woolly day here at Nichols Enclosed Oval. The mud puddles have developed right before our eyes as we've seen Colts and second grade here this afternoon. And for our first opportunity this afternoon to have a look at the teams, we'll run through them just quickly for you as we wait for this scrum to pack down. The hosts, Ray Dobson, number 1, Alex Small, number 2, Nick Dobson, number 3, Sam O'Leary, 4. In number 5 today is Ben McGee, 6, Xavier Duffy, 7, Jake Helgeson, 8, JP Fennick-Tau, 9, Mitch Ward, and on the boot there is Pat Tuidraki chasing, pick up and chase there from Gungahlin. They're running up towards the halfway line at the moment, just short of the halfway line. Mitch Ward will play the ball to his left. A big muddy run there from the number 7 in Jake Helgeson. One back to Connolly, and it's touched, comes back down into hands. They're on the right-hand side of the field at the moment. Coming back to the centre. And a knock-on. Again, we're expecting an error-riddled game of footy here. Both these teams coming off non-convincing wins. Vikings dominated Royals in the back half of last week's game, but Royals stayed with them for the first half, even took a lead into the half-time break. Over at Gungahlon's game with Uni North, they had a narrow victory. And it's been sort of the flavour of the year for Gungahlon. They've been thereabouts, but they're real premiership contenders this year. This game, if they win it, they'll go into third position on the ladder for the first time in the season, taking the defending premiers spot. They're currently in fourth. Vikings risk losing the top of the table moniker if they go down this afternoon. We'll continue through the playing lineup as Andrew Robinson puts it on the boot. Deep into muddy territory, it skips along the turf and over the sideline. Mitch Ward is number 9 for Gungahlon this afternoon. James Lovell, number 10. Andy Barrell in 11. Pat Tuidraki, 12. Mitch Connolly at 13. Jamie Cotts, 14. And Luke Duffy in 15. The rain has cleared off a little bit over the last 15 minutes or so. It was fairly consistent for the previous 2 hours and all through this morning, which is why you can see those fresh first grade jumpers starting to pick up the mud off the ground. Some were saying that there was a chance that this game would be called off as the ball is kicked towards us here on the sideline, just on the halfway line this afternoon. We're right down in the thick of it, with a bit of tarpaulin over the top of our heads protecting from the rain if it does come back again. There's a bit of a breeze here this afternoon as well, and all up the east coast there's lots of people who are braving the rain out in their local footy. It's great to see it. Down in the trenches, Robinson gives it one off to Hitchens. Big run. There'll be lots of courage today in the slippery conditions. Ben Hine this time. 6 tries this season. Ben Hine, the Brumbies player. Andrew Robinson takes another hit up. He's a good number 10 to have for Vikings this afternoon. He likes to run it. He's not your traditional 10. He's not a ball player in that sense of it. He's usually a 12. But in place of the injured Isaac Thompson is Andrew Robinson, and expect him to take it to the line most of the day.
Just send us a text code.
Fantastic clearing kick there as Vikings get some real good field position. We won't see many balls come out through the back line today, although we see that back line is stretched halfway across the field. We're going to see a lot of play up the centre, and any time a team gets close to the line, expect them to just drive and try and slide over. A whistle now from the referee. And just in front of me just moments ago, Callum Smith got the call to put on the jersey to play off on the bench. Callum Smith, here he goes, about to run on. He had cries of indignation, didn't really want to run on. He played in second grade and it's a wet affair out there. He's just been held. Ben Hine limping back to the line. Looks like he'll continue. Not much left of that yellow headgear of his, as the wind starts to come up from the south. And quickly, as we have a break here, run through Tuggeranong's line up this afternoon. Sione Tuula, number 1. Michael Henry, number 2, is about to take the line out. Tateo Kanai, number 3, starting again this week with the injured Liam McGrath still out on the sidelines. Gareth Clouston in 4, as the line out is good. And Ben Hine, that player, he's just signed a couple of weeks ago on the extended playing squad for the Brumbies, and obviously doesn't want to miss a minute of game time. And patience will be tested this afternoon. There's plenty to play for here in today's game. Gungahlon with an opportunity to knock off one of the best teams in the competition. and therefore become one of the best teams themselves. Vikings have played Queanbeyan this year just the once, and they went down. Gungahlin have played Queanbeyan as well just the once, who was second on the ladder, and they went up. They had a 2-point win back in round 2. A short ball gives it to Jake Rakic. It looks like he's over the line. There are cheers. Yes, he is. Jake Rakic, first points for the afternoon for Tuggeranong Vikings. A few of the players talking before the game that they wouldn't just put the ball down, they would slide right over the line. That's what Rakic had to do. Hit the ball hard, hit the line harder. And 5 points for Tuggeranong Vikings. Well, interesting that we were talking a little bit before about how the backline wouldn't come into it very much today. Jake Rakic playing in the 12 position for Tuggeranong and acting as a forward there with a big hit up and a little bit too much to handle that close to the line. Gungahlin with a lot of attacking firepower themselves. We'll see if they can bounce back and get into a position where they stay in contact with this tough Tuggeranong Vikings outfit. The wind just blowing the ball off the tee there for Ernest Silvai, who had a fantastic week last week at the tee. 3 from 3, Ernest Silvai. He's got a big kick on him. This one looks good. Talking about Hine before, he scored 6 tries this season, Ben Hine. He's the second highest try scorer in the competition behind Jamie Cotts for Gungahlin Eagles. The ball will find the touchline on the full. Mitch Ward wanted it, but couldn't quite reach it for a quick restart, so we'll come back to the line out. Right in front of us here, you can see the mud on their faces. Test of the character. Any time that you see the rain pour down like it has this afternoon, also a test of your hands. And this ball goes a little bit too high. Sione Tuula with a massive tackle on the little Mitch Ward. Shuts it down, gets the turnover for his side, but it's turned over again. But it has come back for an initial knock-on, says the referee. So Jamie Cotts, the leading try scorer in the competition. He's in the number 11 jersey for Gungahlin. His speed fairly unmatched in the John A. Dent Cup. You are watching the club line match of the round between Tuggeranong and Gungahlin here at Nichols Oval. Robinson gives it back to Suavai, who's held high in the tackle and is eventually taken to the ground. Bowden gives it to Hitchens. Bowden again to away from the grandstand side of the field, and Ben Hine looks like his minor injury before has moved away from him. Sione Tuula with a big run. Always an impact player when he gets the ball. Jake Rakic with not much room to move now down the sideline. Touch judge with a close eye on that one. Back to Hitchens. Bowden to Henry. And there was a knock-on in there, says the referee, so a turnover. And Gungahlin with the chance to get into attacking territory. The kick finding touch just past the halfway line. The score is 7 points to 0. The Tuggies Vikings getting over with a try through Jake Rakic only a few moments ago. And Ona Suavai putting the extras on. A short ball, but couldn't hang on to it in the line out. The Gungahlin Eagles have turned it over again, so Mick Henry takes it up. Bowden gives it back to Robinson. Jamie Cotts has a bit of work to do, but it's flown over the line on the full, so we'll come back for the line out in Gungahlin attacking territory. Wet conditions suggest this will be a tight contest and a low-scoring affair. Pats on the back around the Vikings players with that line-out ruled to be illegal. And so Michael Henry will have the chance to throw it, the Tuggies Vikings hooker. Not an easy day at line-out time for the number 2s today. This time it's good. Ben Hine with the catch. Henry at the back of that maul now. This is as gritty as it gets in local rugby. Gareth Clouston, the skipper for Tuggies Vikings, taking it down to the ruck now. And a penalty for not rolling away, says the referee. A little bit of niggle at the bottom of that ruck. Gungahlin, a little bit of bad luck there, but also perhaps some ill discipline as the Tuggies Vikings kick for touch. Robinson's kick gains a bit of ground. One major change for the Vikings today. A couple of players on the sideline through injury. One of them is Max Revalval, who's been a fantastic player for Tuggies all season. And he's missing his first game this year today. Jake Rakic, the try scorer from earlier, in the deep mud, right in front of the post now. Tuggies Vikings looking likely. Gungahlin with a bit of work to do. A tap over the back for Giltrap. They're going to come back to the open side through Henry. Good defence now from Gungahlin. They can't let them get too much closer. Slippery customers on a day like today, and all you have to do is run a good line. And you find yourself over the chalk, wherever that is. Jake Knight with the ball now, little touch of a step back into the inside, gained him a couple more metres, but he was shut down eventually. Back to the centre through Sione Tuula, who's had an impact early on in this game today. His 101st game as a knock-on in the ruck there. Yes, his 101st game today. Last week they celebrated his 100th game in 8 years, Sione Tuula. Gungahlin Eagles celebrated the major milestone of 4 players, 2 players with 150 and 2 with 100 a couple of weeks ago against East. Over at Gungahlin in closed oval, which has been given up by the Gungahlin Eagles. There was calls for teams to put their hand up and step out of contention for that oval on the weekend because it was getting overused. So AFL continues to get the use, and also soccer. And the Eagles deciding to step back and play their rugby at Nichols Oval instead. Tuidraki now over the top to Kotz. Kotz, no room to move, and a good shutdown tackle from Ernest Sulvai. Kotz not happy with the way that he was dealt with there, and expressing it through a few big pushes. Diffused nice and fast. Bowden gives it to Robinson. Robinson takes the left step and goes towards the line. A running number 10 is Robinson. Bowden again, back to Hine. Hine goes low. Toula, with the help of Henry, is stopped at the advantage line. Trying some tricky handwork today. The Tuggeranong Vikings out there hasn't worked on this occasion, so a knock on, and Gungahlin will get the loose head again. Tuggeranong with a lot of attacking territory today. So far in this game, we're only early in the game as Gungahlin make an early change. Looks like Andy Barrell's coming off the field. So we're back after some more technical issues. And you will have noticed that players' clothes continue to get more and more unrecognisable. But there are a few players out there who yet to get down in the mud. A lot of the game's been playing up the centre of the field through those massive mud patches you can see there on screen. Bit of an unplanned drinks break going on at the moment as we set up for a line out. It was quite a tense moment of play just before as Gungahlin cleared. He's hoping they're able to recognise one another's jerseys. To Ben Hine goes the line out. Bowden takes it off the back and Robinson can't hold on to it, but it did go backwards, so we'll continue play. Robinson did very well to clean that one up. Comes back to the short side. Hine out to Murray. Murray, one to beat, and Cots gets him low, but didn't get him all the way. A knock on in the end. Story of the day for the backs. Good covering defence tackle there for Jamie Cots. The results from earlier this afternoon, the Colts game, Vikings had a win, and then Gungahlin defeated Vikings in second grade in a low-scoring affair. I believe it was 15-3. In this game, it remained 7 points to 0. Vikings crossing the try line just the once. And another even scrum here in some of the untapped turf. As Duffy puts it on the boot and finds the touchline. Pat Tuidraki sprinting up there to shut down the quick line out. Does very well. And his forwards are not far behind. Vikings with the ball now, put down. Vovoda getting a little bit of a chest bump there and taking some offence to it. A test of the referee's name calling skills. There's a lot of the numbers from both sides being rubbed out by the mud. Gungahlin with the loose head feed. Mitch Ward to feed the scrum for the Eagles. Coming to the short side, Duffy gives it back to Connolly. Connolly still going, he didn't get taken down, he's over the line. Mitch Connolly, first points for the afternoon for the Gungahlin Eagles. A good little attacking play on this side of the field from Gungahlin. Their backline firing. And a conversion yet to come, 5 points to 7 it is. So again, the rain has held off for the last few minutes, allowing Gungahlin's backline to piece together a nice little 1-2 play there. Duffy linking up with Connolly. Connolly playing his 100th game for Gungahlin a few weeks ago. And Duffy, one of the leading conversion kickers this year, 48 points, and he doesn't add another 2. Vikings retain the lead at half-time in this game at Nichols Enclosed Oval. You know what to do. Give me a thumbs up and I'll...
I just had to allow...
Welcome back to Nichols Oval as the kickoff. Vikings heading towards the north of the oval. And looks like there were no fresh shirts on offer for either's team at half-time. Tuggeranong Vikings lead 7 points to 5 in this match. Club line match of the round. As that clearing ball finds touch. Scrappy match here, as you can imagine. Mud galore down the southern end of the field. Down this end of the field is not too bad, and we should see some strong scrums from both sides. They have been fairly even today, and both the forward packs will have to step up if they're going to win it for their team this afternoon. But we have seen 2 tries from the centres today. Mitch Connolly scored for Gungahlin most recently, and towards the start of the game, Jake Rakic, the number 12 for Vikings, crossed the line. Ernest Silva, the only one to kick a goal. As Vikings go on the attack here through Robinson, a little toe through. He's looking to regather, but it's Jamie Kotz who's too quick to pick it up, and a little bit of a flashy play there from both those players were shut down just outside Garland's defensive try line. Connolly puts it on the boot this time and looking for touch. Doesn't quite find it. Nick Murray is tackled out the sideline. So a big game here at Nichols Oval. Vikings looking to keep their spot at the top of the table, and Gungahlin looking to step up from 4th position and secure their finals berth. It's hard to believe, but we're 8 rounds out from the end of the season, including this game here. Vikings remain on top, but if they lose today, they may give up their spot to Queanbeyan Whites. The rain has eased off here, but it's still very moist. As the ball from Pat Tui-Draki's boot finds Nick Murray on the chest, and he gives it back to Sam Giltrap. Giltrap running up the centre of the field now. Offload again to Murray. Murray scored a try off the bench last week for the Tuggeranong Vikings late in the game in their win over Royals.
Score 7-5 to Vikings.
And the Tuggies Vikings on the attack now. They go short side again. Big driving low ball there from Ben Hine, clearing the ruck is Gareth Clouston out the side, and they're coming back to the short side. A little duck. Clouston again doing the raking work of a sheep shearer. He looks more like than a rugby player at the moment. And the referee reaching for the pocket, a yellow card there. Looks like some infringement at the ruck. Yellow card to Gungahlin, yes. So the score remains 7 points to 5. Michael Henry consulting with his line out. And Gungahlin 1 man down for the next 10 minutes. We're only a few minutes into the second half here. And Vikings with a real opportunity, except now they're not, with an opportunity to take themselves beyond a converted try lead, because Gungahlin won that line out. A tricky day for the hookers. Michael Henry just overshooting that one a little bit. A long way out of defensive territory for Gungahlin now, especially when you're playing in English-like conditions. And Tuggies get a penalty. Ernest Silva missed a kick, a penalty attempt from about this position on the other side of the field in the first half. Interesting to see whether they'll decide to go again. Sione Tuula, the prop for Tuggies Vikings, just getting a little bit of treatment at the bottom of that ruck. Strapping to his thigh. And looks like he's set to continue. As is the referee. Vikings remain on the attack. And probably the most muddy part of this end of the field. Jake Helgeson given a rest off the field now. So number 7 for Gungahlin. Expect a few changes today in tough conditions. Ball comes back through Robinson looking for a wraparound off Rakic. Short side again. Hitchens now with the ball. Bowden gives it off, hits the turf up to Rakic again. And they stick with the short side, but under too much pressure was Robinson, so the ball was knocked on. But we come back for a penalty. Robinson making sure of that kick. Found the touchline last week. He was sniped by a Royals player who, it was Brent Hamlin, I believe, who caught the ball before it reached the touchline as Vikings on the attack again. Henry with the ball, gives it to Bowden, gives it to Robinson. Robinson runs a beautiful line. He's getting close, but a covering tackle over the top, I think it was JP Fenekatau, stopped that attempted try, and Vikings over the line on this occasion. A fantastic little pick and go there from Joshy Hitchens. So the Tuggies Vikings take themselves to a 12 points to 5 lead with a kick to come. And Ernest Silva set to take the kick. And Silva not able to repeat his efforts from last week. He had a 100% success rate. Missing his second kick of the afternoon out of 3. So the score remains 12 points to 5. And the restart off Duffy's boot finds Rakic. And Rakic with a torpedo. And a brilliant catch from Luke Duffy. Playing ping-pong rugby at the moment. Goes back, bounces once before Rakic picks it up. Sure hands of the number 12. 2 away to Hitchens, running hard this afternoon. And it's still going. He popped it up to Oakman Hunt. Bowden was in support and he gave it away. Perhaps the mud on the jersey just... It looked all the same. It was Jamie Kotz in support of Gungahlin, and he intercepted that one. So Vikings on the back foot again. Gungahlin looking to make up. All they need is a converted try to get back even with the Tuggeranong Vikings, who are competition leaders. That ball off the boot of Mitch Ward finds touch. Cluson with a clean line out on this occasion. The Gungahlin crowd not happy there. Perhaps a fairly flat ball called by the referee. Pick and go from either Oakman Hunt or Hine, one of the headgear wearing Vikings players. And a little skip off the bounce. Puts the pressure on Luke Duffy. And he gives it back to Jamie Kotz. Kotz does well. Ben McGee's there to pick and go. Ben McGee again. To Idraki. Little juggle just before the line there from Dobson, and good pressure from Sione Tuula, but Dobson did very well to hold on to it. Ward to Connolly. Connolly gave it one out to Fennick-Towell, but a knock-on off a Viking hand in the middle of that play. And so Gungahlin will have the loose head. Fantastic conditions this afternoon if you enjoy watching movies in the warmth of your own home. And even better conditions for club rugby. And the quality of the rugby this afternoon has been up there. Not as many handling errors as you would expect in conditions like this. And both scrums looking fairly impressive despite the loose footing underneath. Mitch Ward just consulting his back line, making sure they know what's going on. Sam Giltrap is a long way back there for Tuggeranong Vikings. Covering any deep kicks from Gungahlin Eagles. Vikings look to have the advantage in this scrum, but Gungahlin just holding in. Mitch Ward gives it away to Tui Draki, and the ball is dropped, picked up brilliantly from Tui Draki, almost a one-handed pickup in the mud. Gives it back to McGee. It's tackled well by Robinson. One away now for Gungahlin. In Duffy. Fenica Tau now with the ball. And a penalty against the grain. Tuggeranong Vikings very strong in defence today, and that's something that Tim Sampson has been talking about over the last couple of weeks. Is ensuring that his team, who lead the competition, have strong defence going into this back half of the season. They displayed it last week when they defeated Royals. Didn't let them score a single point in the second half. Gungahlin will need to get across the try line to be in contention for this game. As Alex Small and Jake Helgeson make their way back up the line.
The Vikings still were running a Facebook Live here as they streaming from the...
Getting ready to return the field to the field after yellow cards handed out earlier, and Gungahlin doing very well to only concede the one try in that time. However, Vikings in a good position at the moment. Robinson with a little step. Makes it as far as the advantage line. Continue on this right side attack to Tuggeranong Vikings. Sam Giltrap there, probably the cleanest player on the field at the moment, looking to get into the action. Just out the back. Vikings continue to push up the middle. Good handling at the moment. Very clean rugby from them. Driving up the centre of the field. That gives it back to Teo Kanai. And Josh Hitchens looking for his second try of the afternoon. It looks like he's over, and the referee confirms that Josh Hitchens gets a double. And the score is 17-5, one kick to come. As the referee just consults with his assistant referee, it looks like we may be going back on that decision. We'll go back to 12 points to 5. So Vikings continue with the ball. Attacking just to the right of the uprights at the moment. Vikings looking strong to Teo Kanai, getting close. It's almost just the one colour in there at the ruck. Pick and go again. Vikings making sure of it. Not willing to throw it wide yet. Ryan Bowden gives it to Rakic, who has already scored a try this afternoon. They continue, they have an overlap, and Bowden saw a snipe and he took it. Ryan Bowden with his first try for the Tuggeranong Vikings against Gungahlin here in the Club Lime match of the round.
Got there eventually.
And a man down just in the back play there. Let's hope he's okay. Tough rugby.
Got a player down in the field.
So a try disallowed just earlier, and the score had moved to 17, but it was pulled back 12. Tuggeranong Vikings kick to come. Ernest Silvai stripped to the kicking duties, it appears. Jake Rakic to line the ball up. looking to make it 19-5.
17-5 the score now. Just waiting for kick from Ernie. Is that not? Oh, is it Rakic? Was he kicking before too? This is his first run. Why is Ernie not kicking? I never understand that. He's got better ground to kick on.
Rakic's left boot not accurate. So the score remains 12 points to 5. Gungahlin with a long way back. The score isn't a massive margin. On a day like today, 2 tries. Hard to recover from. And Pat Tuidraki was the man down in back play, and he has been replaced. The replacement stands out like a sore thumb. Clean gear on. Won't stay that way for long. Pat Tuidraki looks like he's walking off, so he's hoping his recovery is nice and fast. The ball's given back to Rakic, who puts it on the boot. It's a bit of a banana kick. And it falls just in front of us here on the halfway line. The assistant referee has his flag up on the 10-metre line. And Gungahlin in attacking territory. It is a long way back for them today, but it'll be a massive win if they are able to turn this one around. Pat Tuidraki returned today from an injury layoff. Hopefully it's not a recurrence of that previous industry, and locked in at hands in midair was Ben Hine and Xavier Duffy. Tight contest ended up with Vikings with the ball, and a good charge down there from Ben McGee. Great pressure late in this game. Getting close to the halfway mark in the second half. The rain has stopped, but the wind is up. Plenty of people here looking forward to some hot dinner and maybe a hot chocolate and some movie time after the game today. As you can imagine, not a thick crowd, but a passionate crowd at Nichols Oval. More rain expected tonight and tomorrow. Very lucky to get on this afternoon. Great to see some rugby. The line out is long in Vikings' favour. Jake Rakic on the boot. Finds touch. Gungahlin with another opportunity. Good pressure from the Eagles here at Nichols Oval. They need a hero at the moment. They need someone to step up. JP Fennick-Tau, the number 8 for Gungahlin, has had a massive impact over the course of this season. We've seen them play a number of times in the club line match of the round. Today, he's yet to really have that driving force, and a fantastic line out again from the Vikings. They win that against the grain. Ball sent back to Rakic. And a big kick is going to find touch, is it? No, it's not. On the boots for Andy Barrell. And Nick Murray with a good strong run for a little winger. Inside ball. Looks to be offloaded. Joshy Hitchens. And a knock on. As the Tuggies Vikings get prepared to make a couple of changes here. Young Darcy Swain putting on the number 18 jersey. There'll be a few forwards out there looking forward to a little bit of relief. It's a forwards game today, and the forwards for Gungahlin Eagles winning this scrum before they're penalised for their actions. Nick Murray now gives it back to Giltrap. And on to Robinson. Quick hands to Suavai. Suavai's taken down. Helgeson, good tackle around the waist strap. Ben Hine. Started with yellow headgear. Not so much. Very impressive day today from Andrew Robinson, wearing number 10, recognising the conditions and playing accordingly, not scared to take it up to the line. Gained his team a number of metres. The try scorers for Tuggeranong Vikings, Josh Hitchens, Jake Rakic and Ryan Bowden. They lead 17 points to 5. Deep into this second half, Jake Rakic now. Short side again for Ben Hine. Probably best to go low next time you try and tackle Ben Hine. One of the players on the Brumbies extended playing squad. And a knock on there at the ruck against Vikings, says the referee. And Gungahlin out of jail, really. Vikings had a lot of momentum there and looked to be in a position to capitalise and extend their lead again. There's a player warming up on the sideline. Is Darcy Swain. Looks like he's going to come on for Ben Hine. We're just talking about a moment ago. Ben Hine was down with looked like a bit of an injury at the start of the game. He brushed away the doctors and continued playing. And he's got about 60 metres out of that body. 60 minutes out of that body, I should say. Darcy Swain, his replacement in there at lock. Ben Hine walking just in front of us here. Looks like he's out of straight out of the ditches, the trenches. And Darcy Swain getting his gear dirty at the middle of that scrum there. Scrum win on this occasion by the Eagles, gives it to Connolly, and the Connolly's kick was no good. It's come back for well, the referee said it was okay, just inside the 22, so it's going to be played from where it went out. I don't think that was really his intention there, Connolly. He wanted to continue down the sideline. Vikings win the line out again. Robinson runs himself. Playing advantage there. Looked like a bit of a high shot. And the referee says Vikings have the advantage. They didn't carry it through, so they'll either kick for touch or take the tap. I don't think they'll be trying for goal from this far out. Haven't been too successful off the boot today. At the back there, Andy Barrell trying to tap it back in, but couldn't quite get there. Great line out again from the Tuggeranong Vikings. Darcy Swain having the impact early. This maul is working for them. Can Gungahlin stop it? Looks like they got enough men underneath. Waiting for the call from the referee. Oh, brilliant scrum from both sides. Gungahlin eventually winning it, but not really much advantage. As the ball hit the advantage line and a hit there from Jake Rakic on Ben McGee, the club captain for Gungahlin. Ben McGee, a player who just loves his rugby. And the sort of player I'm sure will find something to love in that little play. Gungahlin remain camped down deep in their defensive territory, and Michael Henry will throw the line out for the Vikings again. Darcy Swain in the bright red coloured gear, and a wraparound now from Robinson. He's got Jake Knight on his inside, but didn't give it to him. Robinson goes short side again. Bowden, he was hassled there and couldn't quite get to the ball. He gets this one though, and goes one out to Oakman Hunt. Chick Henry, as the rain starts to fall again here at Nichols Oval. Heads into the hands of Michael Hitchens. Still attacking a Vikings. Gungahlin have spent a good 15 minutes defending their line. As Liam Wakaba runs out with the tee. And the Vikings decide to end this long period of attacking rugby, and Gungahlin have done very well to prevent them from getting the full points on the board, but they'll have a good chance now to add 3 more. Ernest Suavai back on the kicking duties.
Ernie's back.
Silent around the ground as Ernest Suavai's kick is good. 3 more on the board. 20 points to 5. The Vikings lead here at Nichols Oval, with less than 20 minutes to go in this game. It looks like it may be out of reach for Gungahlin. The drop kick hits the big mud pit, and Sam Giltrap picks it up with plenty of colour on the ball now. Luke Duffy gathers that one on the full. A bit more exciting play now from both sides, opening it up. Gungahlin relieved not to be in their defensive territory again. One away now, Gungahlin. Quick hands from Ben McGee gives it to Sam O'Leary, and he's meets a truck put on his backside. With the ball now is Jamie Cotts in some space. Jamie Cotts hasn't had some space all afternoon. He's fast and he gets caught. Sam Giltrack, excellent covering defence for Vikings. Prevents almost a sure 5 points there if he had beaten him.
My arm is hurting. And my back is hurting. I don't want people to stare at. Otherwise they're going to look at the ground.
A knock on against Gungahlin. A bit of a disappointing little end there to some good field position. Tuggeranong Vikings looking to clear out. Andy Barrell gives it out to Mitch Connolly, and he's close to the line. Does well to get it back up to Duffy just before he touches the chalk. Connolly again to Helgeson. Helgeson gives it back to Connolly. And Connolly has to slide along the ground like he's touching third base. Not releasing the ball, says the referee. So the Tuggeranong Vikings get the penalty, and there's cheers around the ground with only minutes to go in this game here at Nichols Enclosed Oval. Josh Hitchens just getting a little bit of treatment there. Off to the side, looks like he might be ready to come off. The ball goes over the top of our heads and hits the roof over to the soccer field on the other side of the clubhouse here. Josh Hitchens comes off and he should get a round of applause. He's played a big game today. Scored the one try and always runs with a crazed look in his eye. Looks like the ball might have come off the referee there. Bouncing around, Vikings making a few changes. And Josh Hitchens just shaking his head and having a bit of a laugh with his teammates here on the side, talking about how it stopped raining when the game started and prevented the players from having the mud washed off their clothes. You can tell the replacements by the clean jerseys now. And the ball came back for Alex Small, but it was knocked on there. A few heads hung low on the Gungahlin Eagles side. They'll have to go back to training and decide how they're going to beat this Tuggeranong Vikings outfit, who again the favourites for the premiership, despite going down in the grand final last year to Royals after the siren. Gungahlin have done really well this year though to get back into contention for the finals. Looks like they're probably going to knock Easts and Wests out of contention. Union Norths will need a lot of work to get themselves back into a position where they can vie for that fourth spot. But as it stands, it'll be Tuggeranong Vikings, Queanbeyan Whites Gungahlin Eagles and Royals in the finals come August. Short side there for Ward. He put it on the foot and he had a winger in Andy Barrell screaming up his right hand side. Playing the best attacking option for the day as the referee wipes some muck out of his eye. A big effort from both sides' front rows, unchanged here. The Dobson brothers, either side of Alex Small for the Gungahlin Eagles, and Sione Taula and Tateo Kanai propping up Michael Henry for the Tuggeranong Vikings. It's been a Ford's day. And a penalty off the back of that scrum gives Ryan Bowden a chance to give it off to Andrew Robinson, but he was halfway to the ground when he was hit that time. A big tackle, plenty of spirit in this Gungahlin Eagles side. They haven't given up their intensity despite being out of this game. Minutes to go. Referee's watch is what we're looking at as the ball finds touch. And it was outside the 22, says the referee. So we'll come back to where the kick was taken because it reached the touchline on the full. Tap back from Vikings wins that line out again. They've had a lot of success off the line out today, the Tuggeranong Vikings, which is one area that they've beaten Gungahlin. Caught on the full, Ben McGee gives it back to Barrell, and then Barrell to Helgeson, wrap around back to Barrell, and Barrell has one on his outside in Duffy, just short of the halfway line. Gungahlin Eagles really have been there or thereabouts, just lacking territory. And perhaps outmuscled in the forward pack beyond the scrum today. Big Dobson of the nicked variety slammed to the ground on that occasion, gave it back up to his brother Ray. Great defence now from Tuggeranong Vikings. They're riding a high. Everyone is carrying a few extra kilograms today. The breakaway from Jake Helgeson. He didn't really have anyone in support. He had Jamie Kotz there, but he was over the top of a Tuggeranong Vikings player. And Gungahlin continue with their possession. They find themselves in a mud pit now, and there's Tuggeranong Viking players slipping all over the place, opening up the holes, but the problem is you can't get any traction, so you can't make it through the hole. A little bit of a slide for the ball that time. Given back for Duffy to Connolly. Connolly slides down to his hip in front of Survey, and Survey wraps him up. Back towards the centre of the field now to the club captain, Ben McGee. They continue towards the grandstand side in front of the Gungahlin faithful now. It was low from Sione to Ula, and Helgeson with the ball. And a knock-on was spied by the referee. And a disappointing end to a strong passage of possession from Gungahlin Eagles. $20 to 5, Tuggeranong Vikings lead Gungahlin. It's not really the tight match that we expected here today. Tuggeranong, very professional outfit and making the most of their possession. Gungahlin, however, have been very impressive in defence and perhaps would have gone down by a lot more if they hadn't have muscled up on a number of occasions. They lack the attacking firepower though. Their conditions have nullified the likes of Pat Tui-Draki in the centres, Mitch Connolly alongside him, and Jamie Cotts, the speedster, out wide. Impressive for Gungahlin this afternoon have been Luke Duffy, Mitch Ward, nice and consistent, and of course that big forward pack, who are unchanged apart from JP Fenekatau, who has earned a rest. Tuggeranong Vikings, obviously the better side this afternoon. But can Gungahlin Eagles add a little bit of icing to the cake? A little bit of respectability to the scoreboard. They're in the right position of the field to do so. However, Tuggeranong Vikings have the loose head. Aware that the game was over and the final whistle had been blown, Ryan Bowden kicks for the touchline. And the Tuggeranong Vikings take the win, 20 to 5 here at Nichols Oval.